if they are hell-bent on putting out this narrative that Labour are in chaos, that there is a mutiny about to happen, that there's infighting in the cabinet already, I personally feel like Keir Starmer should come straight out of the gate and go like, okay, we were going to play nice. We were going to be nice to you, but you obviously can't be trusted. You're always going to ideologically hate us anyway. So sorry, we are going to do Leveson 2 now. You fucked it for yourselves. And yes, we are going to appoint a brand new Great British Press regulator. And I'll tell you what the fines should be. If you fall foul of this new Labour-appointed Great British Press regulator, if you put your opinion on the front pages, opinion, not fact, not the news, not what happened, if you put your opinion on the front page, like absolute shambles, like that is an opinion on what happened. That is not what happened. If you put pure evil on the front pages, that is opinion. That is not what happened. If you do that, you should have a £500,000 fine. Straight out the gate. You need to just tell people what happened on the front page, and then 15 pages in, fine. Get yourself a columnist. Get yourself an opinionista to interpret it, to absorb it, and re-communicate it back out a day later, 2 days later. But on the front page, where people just, walk past the 24-hour garage, they just casually absorb the radicalisation. If you put your opinion on the front page, £500,000 fine, I think. What should the next one be? How else should we regulate the newspapers? I think if you are an editor of a British newspaper, whether it's a tabloid or a broadsheet or whatever, I think you should have your private messages audited. I think your relationship with power, you're supposed to hold power to account, right? If you run a newspaper, I think if you're the editor or the owner of a newspaper, the importance of information and politics in the way that the UK is run, to avoid radicalisation, to avoid situations like Brexit happening again, where people are just spoon-fed misinformation again and again. Britain is full. Oh my God, we better vote Brexit. £300 million a week to the NHS. Oh my God, we better vote Brexit. Because this whole thing is so stinky and dangerous and ripe for manipulation, I think if you are an editor or the owner, the proprietor of a British newspaper, you should have your WhatsApps, your emails audited. Say once a year. It doesn't have to be super intrusive. It can be done by people who are themselves audited and checked that when they read these messages, they're not sending them to their mates or screenshotting them or whatever. So you could put controls in place to prevent abuse. But you as a newspaper editor, we want to know if you are colluding with power. That is what I want to know. I want to have my fears allayed. I want to know that we can put to bed this whole ugly period of Boris Johnson, ex-Telegraph columnist, getting cushy coverage by the Telegraph itself because he's so cosy with Charles Moore. I want all of that in the bin. I want to close the chapter on Matt Hancock. Do you remember when he was health secretary? And he was targeting, 100,000 tests a day? COVID tests, right? He'd set himself this target because the newspaper coverage around testing was so bad. It was like, how are we ever going to control this this virus, sorry. How are we ever going to control it or live through this period when we can't even get the fucking testing apparatus up and running? That whole process. We don't even have a clear idea of where the fucking thing is. How are we ever going to send the virus packing in 12 weeks? We don't even know. We need some sort of dashboard. Can somebody get testing running quickly? Step forward, Matt Hancock, right? And he sets himself this 100,000 tests a day target. Big round number. Really ambitious. And because of the newspaper attention, because of the spotlight that was shone on this policy and on him, he leveraged off his friends in the press. And there were published text messages through the COVID inquiry of him colluding with George Osborne, then editor of the Evening Standard. He's like, I want a front page splash. Oh, absolutely, no problem. Send it to the team tomorrow morning. I've got you covered. All of this collusion for a policy that he dreamt up just to gain or to dig himself out of a hole. Collusion, press and politics collusion for all to see. I just want to close the book on all of that.